So I kind of want to know some tips. So you mentioned, Janelle, about the interest. Can you talk a little bit more about how to pay down your loan and maybe avoid paying more than you should?
So the first thing is, if we're talking about credit card debt, which was my situation, is making sure that you always pay off your full credit card balance before the end of the month, because before your due date of your statement, because if you let it roll over to the next month, that's the only way they get to charge you interest. Credit card companies cannot make a profit off of you unless you don't pay them all their money back by the end of that statement cycle. And I didn't know that. So I would just send the minimum payment, $25. I could swing that, I'm fine. And I just kept doing that. And so the rest of it that I didn't pay was growing at that 27% interest. And credit cards are some of the highest interest rates in the country, besides like Sharks and like quick pay loans and stuff like that. So if I was better off getting like a personal loan at a bank and spending that, because that would have been like 9%, given that I had decent credit before I maxed out my card. So the big thing is make sure that you have a plan. Like, it's not a terrible thing to use debt to your advantage if you know that you have a plan in place. But if you don't even understand your interest rate and when you need to be making payments to avoid that from getting worse, then you should probably just stay away from it until you understand it better.
So I think I'm a little bit more of a technical person, because when I graduated, I looked at my student loan interest and it was $10.10 or something like that a day. And at the time I had, and I'm sure most of you guys are paying similar to that. But it's like, that was a big eye opener for me. And I use my daily interest as an indicator to see my progress. I think also, like for me, I used to make a lot of bigger payments. So if, let's say my bill was $400, I would put $1,000 down, because I could swing that because I was living at home. And that actually tackles your principal. And from your principal, your interest is dramatically reduced from that. So it's important, if you can make extra payments. That's how I did it. And I did multiple things. I did extra payments every month. I also had an emergency fund, which was actually my house fund at the time, because I was saving, right? So I would take some money from my emergency fund and make a big payment down, which would slash the interest like a lot. And then I would pay myself back, because I'm on the hook, right? Like, I'm not gonna leave myself hanging. I borrow money from myself, I pay myself back. I did it again. So I would drop down 10,000, pay myself back, spend a year and a half paying myself back, and that's how I did it. And it was really fast for me.
And to add to that, though, you can always look into refinancing your loans if you do have a high interest rate on whatever loans you're paying. And then also, I think a big plan for me, my situation was a hot mess. I didn't know what I was doing. I don't even remember consolidating my loans, but at some point I did. For whatever reasons, people are asking me nowadays, like, oh, how'd you consolidate? I was like, I don't even remember doing it, but I know I had a lot of loans. So if you go back and look at my credit report, there's like 15, 16, 17 loans that all got consolidated. It was a lot of loans. But that's also something to look into as far as tackling and making sure you have a plan in place for your debt. So if you don't look into consolidation or refinancing for a lower interest rate, understanding how you want to go about tackling your student loans is also a really good way to really start tackling them. So either it be from smallest to largest debt, or largest to smallest debt, regardless, based on interest, regardless of the balance, is something that you can also look at. Just having a plan makes you a little more secure, and then going after and tackling it and paying that extra money, whether it be $10 because you're having a bad day and throwing it towards Navient, kind of get out of my face. Sally Mae or Navient's the new Sally Mae, but anytime you log onto that account and you could put any money towards it, $15, $20, these snowflakes, they all help. And once you start seeing that the interest and the principal go down, it starts making you feel more aggressive and wanting to take control of paying off these student loans faster.